Money does not respond to noise, effort, or desperation. Money responds to direction. So many people wake up early, work hard, pray hard, and still feel stuck financially. It is not because they are lazy or cursed, but because their steps are not aligned. Where your feet go determines what follows you. In spiritual language, feet represent movement, authority, and possession. When your steps are confused, your finances become confused. When your steps are aligned, provision begins to follow naturally, quietly, and consistently. There are moments in time that act like doors. Not because the date itself has power, but because seasons shift, cycles close, and new paths open. The 22nd of December represents a turning point. It is the end of one rhythm and the preparation for another. Spiritually, it symbolizes transition. What you do at moments of transition determines what follows you into the next season. Ignoring such moments keeps people repeating the same financial patterns year after year. Many people chase money, but money is not meant to be chased. Money is meant to follow purpose, wisdom, and order. When your steps are scattered, money scatters. When your steps are disciplined, money organizes itself around you. This is why some people seem to attract opportunities without stress, while others struggle endlessly despite effort. It is not favoritism, it is alignment. Feet appear repeatedly in spiritual teachings because possession begins with stepping. You cannot possess what you are afraid to step into. You cannot access what you refuse to move toward. Washing the feet is not about the body alone. It's about preparing your direction. It is a symbolic declaration that where you are going next will be different from where you have been. The problem for many people is not lack of prayer. It is lack of clarity. Confusion drains finances faster than poverty. Indecision causes loss. Poor direction wastes resources. When clarity enters, money begins to behave differently around a person. Ideas become sharper. Decisions become cleaner. Opportunities become easier to recognize. The 22nd of December comes when many people are tired, reflecting, worried, or anxious about the coming year. That emotional state matters. What you carry emotionally often determines what you attract practically. This moment is about resetting your inner posture before you step forward. It's about refusing to carry last season's mistakes into the next one. This message is not about superstition or quick riches. It is about understanding that spiritual order produces material order. When your movement is intentional, your finances respond. When your steps are blessed with wisdom, your labor produces more. When your direction is peaceful, your income stops leaking through unnecessary stress and wrong decisions. Many testimonies do not begin with sudden money. They begin with peace. They begin with clarity. They begin with a sense that something has shifted internally. That internal shift is often the first sign that financial movement is coming. Money follows peace more often than it follows panic. This is why you must listen carefully. This is not about copying an act mechanically. It is about understanding what the act represents. It is about preparing your steps for favor, discipline, and opportunity. It is about choosing alignment over anxiety. Stay attentive. What follows is not rushed. What follows is intentional. What follows is about preparing your direction so that when money comes, it finds a path that can hold it, grow it, and keep it. Feet are not just physical instruments for walking. Spiritually, they represent authority, territory, and the ability to possess what has been prepared for you. In many teachings, nothing is given without movement. Blessings do not fall randomly. They respond to steps. When a person's steps are aligned, provision recognizes the path and follows it. When steps are unstable, provision hesitates. This is why direction matters more than speed. Many people believe money comes from effort alone, but effort without direction produces exhaustion, not abundance. You can work hard in the wrong direction and still struggle. You can invest energy into paths that drain you financially without realizing it. Spiritual misalignment often shows up as financial leakage. Money comes in but never stays. Opportunities appear but never settle. This is not bad luck. It is misplaced movement. There are people who do very little yet experience steady financial growth. And there are people who do everything yet see nothing. The difference is not intelligence or prayer length. The difference is alignment. When your steps are ordered, even small actions multiply. When your steps are confused, even large efforts collapse. Money responds to structure, order, and consistency. Feet also represent decision. Every decision is a step. Every choice moves you closer to something or away from something. Poor decisions quietly sabotage finances more than spiritual attacks ever could. One wrong step repeated over time becomes a pattern, and patterns create results. Aligning your steps is about breaking destructive patterns and replacing them with disciplined movement. Spiritual alignment does not mean perfection. It means intentionality. It means you are aware of where you are going and why. When a person becomes intentional with their steps, money begins to recognize. Stability attracts, opportunity attracts provision. This is why clarity is a financial asset. Money flows toward people who know where they are going. It avoids confusion because confusion creates risk, and money avoids risk. When your steps are aligned, conversations shift. People trust you more. Opportunities open naturally. Favor increases without forcing anything. Alignment makes your presence attractive to resources. Many financial struggles are not caused by lack of opportunity, but by lack of readiness. Money tests people before it settles. It watches how you move. It observes your discipline. It follows those whose steps are steady, not rushed. When your direction is firm, money feels safe around you. This is also why anxiety blocks finances. Anxiety creates unstable movement. One day you are confident, the next day you are fearful. Money does not follow inconsistency. Peace stabilizes steps. When peace enters, movement becomes smooth and provision follows smoothly as well. Aligning your steps is not about doing many things. It is about doing the right things consistently. It is about removing distractions, unnecessary expenses, wrong associations, and emotional spending. These are all expressions of misaligned steps. When these are corrected, finances respond without struggle. This part of the teaching is about understanding that before money changes, movement must change. Before income increases, direction must be refined. Before abundance settles, steps must be ordered. When the foundation of movement is corrected, everything that follows begins to change naturally. There are moments in time that act like spiritual junctions where one season quietly hands over authority to another. These moments are not loud, but they are powerful. The 22nd of December sits at such a junction. It represents a closing and an opening happening almost at the same time. Spiritually, it is a pause between what has been and what is about to begin. What you do at such moments often determines the tone of the next season. Seasons govern results. When a season ends, its rules expire. When a new season begins, new permissions are released. Many people remain financially stuck because they keep applying old strategies to new seasons. The 22nd of December marks a natural point of transition where reflection, correction, and redirection become easier if a person is intentional. This period carries the weight of ending. Endings are important because unfinished cycles drain energy and finances. Carrying unresolved habits, debts, emotional baggage, or poor financial decisions into a new season causes repetition. Spiritually, this date invites closure. Closure is not regret. Closure is wisdom. It is the decision to stop dragging what no longer serves you forward. Financial stagnation often comes from refusing to acknowledge that a season has ended. Some income streams expire. Some strategies stop working. Some doors quietly close. Recognizing this early saves people years of struggle. The 22nd of December gives space for honest evaluation without pressure, allowing redirection before the next phase fully opens. This month also prepares the mind. The mind must shift before money does. Without mental alignment, Financial change becomes temporary. This is why this timing matters. It allows the inner posture to adjust before external opportunities appear. When the mind is prepared, opportunities are recognized faster and handled better. Transitions also expose direction. When everything slows down briefly, clarity becomes louder. Distractions lose strength, noise reduces. This is why many people receive ideas, realizations, and sudden understanding toward the end of the year. It is not coincidence. It is the natural effect of transition, creating space for insight. The 22nd of December is not about rushing into the next year. It is about standing still long enough to choose wisely. Financial mistakes are often made when people rush out of fear or pressure. This moment invites calm decisions. Calm decisions protect resources. Calm decisions attract sustainable growth. Spiritually, this date represents alignment before movement. You do not move blindly into a new season. You prepare your steps first. Preparation prevents waste. Preparation prevents regret. When steps are prepared, the path ahead becomes clearer. Even if every detail is not yet visible, many testimonies of financial breakthrough begin with a quiet reset, not a dramatic event. People often say they felt a release, a peace, or a clarity before anything changed outwardly. That internal shift is the real beginning. The 22nd of December creates an atmosphere where such shifts happen naturally. This part of the journey is about honoring timing. When timing is respected, effort becomes effective. When timing is ignored, effort becomes exhausting. Aligning with this transitional moment is about positioning yourself correctly so that when the next season opens fully, your steps are already facing the right direction. Water has always represented cleansing, not just of the body, but of direction. When water touches the feet, it symbolizes the washing away of old paths, old mistakes, and old patterns that no longer serve the next season. This is not about the act itself, but about what the act declares. It is a quiet statement that the past does not control where you are going next. Salt represents preservation and separation. Spiritually, it marks what is valuable and protects it from decay. When salt is associated with the feet, it speaks of preserving the path ahead. It is a declaration that waste, leakage, and unnecessary loss will no longer follow your steps. It represents wisdom entering movement and discipline entering decisions. Oil represents ease, favor, and smoothness. It reduces friction. When life is full of resistance, finances struggle. When movement becomes smooth, resources respond. Associating oil with the feet symbolizes a desire for ease in movement, clarity in decisions, and grace in opportunities. It reflects a shift from struggling to flowing. This teaching is not about performing an act mechanically. It is about posture. The posture of humility, awareness, and intention matters more than the physical elements. When the heart understands what the act represents, the message becomes effective. Without understanding, actions become empty habits. Feet carry the weight of the entire body. Wherever they go, the whole person follows. This is why preparing the feet is symbolic of preparing the future. If direction is wrong, everything that follows suffers. When direction is corrected, effort becomes productive. Preparation saves time, energy, and resources. Financial strain often follows people not because money avoids them, but because their movement attracts loss. Wrong decisions, rushed choices, emotional spending, and poor timing all stem from misaligned steps. Healing addresses the root, not the symptom. Change the movement and the results change naturally. Washing the feet also represents humility. Humility opens doors that pride keeps shut. Financial growth requires teachability, correction, and adjustment. Those who refuse to examine their steps repeat the same outcomes. Those who are willing to reset their direction create room for increase. The spiritual posture during this moment is calm, reflective, and focused. There is no pressure, no desperation, and no fear. Fear contaminates decisions. Calmness purifies them. When calmness governs movement, opportunities become clearer and mistakes reduce. This teaching encourages separation from financial chaos. Chaos scatters resources. Order attracts them. Order begins with intentional movement. When movement is intentional, finances respond with stability rather than unpredictability. This part is about alignment, not performance. It is about declaring that your next steps will be wiser than your previous ones. When wisdom leads movement, provision follows quietly, steadily, and without struggle. When direction begins to align, the first change many people notice is not money itself, but clarity. Confusion lifts. Decisions that once felt heavy become simple. You begin to know what to accept and what to decline. This clarity alone saves money, because many financial losses come from hesitation, pressure, or fear-driven choices. When clarity enters, waste exits quietly. Another sign is peace around finances. Even before income increases, anxiety reduces. Bills no longer feel like threats. The mind becomes calmer. This peace is important because panic repels solutions. Calmness attracts strategy. When peace settles, you begin to think better about money, plan better, and notice opportunities that were always present but previously ignored. Opportunities often start appearing in old, ordinary ways. A conversation leads to an idea leads to action, and action leads to income. These are not dramatic miracles, but steady movements. Money often enters through practical doors, not sudden events. Alignment sharpens your awareness so you can recognize these doors when they open. Favor in conversations is another common sign. People become more receptive. Discussions about work, business, or collaboration flow more easily. Resistance reduces. This is because aligned movement carries confidence and clarity which others can sense. Favor attracts cooperation, and cooperation opens financial pathways. Many people also experience renewed discipline. Spending habits change without force. Emotional purchases lose their grip. Impulse decisions reduce. Discipline protects income. It keeps money from leaking through unnecessary expenses. This shift alone can transform financial stability without increasing income immediately. New ideas begin to surface naturally. These ideas are often simple, realistic, and achievable. They fit your current capacity rather than overwhelming you. This is important because sustainable growth comes from ideas that can be implemented consistently, not grand plans that collapse under pressure. Restoration of confidence is another sign. Financial struggle often damages self-trust. When alignment begins, confidence returns quietly. You trust your judgment again. You stop doubting every move. Confidence improves execution, and execution improves results. Some people notice that old financial obstacles lose strength. Delays reduce. Rejections stop repeating. The same problems no longer appear in the same way. This does not mean challenges disappear completely, but they stop dominating your progress. Movement becomes smoother. Peace before provision is a common pattern. Many testimonies confirm that peace arrives first, then money follow. This sequence matters. Peace stabilizes movement so that when provision comes, it stays. Without peace, increase becomes temporary. These results are not instant riches. They are signs of realignment. They indicate that your steps are changing, and what follows your steps is changing too. When direction is corrected, money begins to recognize you differently and respond in healthier ways. This teaching requires discernment because alignment can be misunderstood when people are desperate for quick results. This is not a shortcut and is not a substitute for wisdom, effort, or responsibility. When people treat spiritual alignment as a formula instead of a posture, they miss its purpose. The power is not in copying an act, but in understanding what the act represents and living in agreement with it afterward. One of the greatest mistakes people make after moments of alignment is returning immediately to old habits. Old spending patterns, old emotional decisions, and old distractions can quietly undo progress. Alignment is not a moment, it is a direction. What you do after matters more than what you do during. Consistency protects results. Discipline is essential. Without discipline, even blessings become burdens. Financial increase without structure creates stress instead of peace. This is why alignment focuses on order first. Order creates capacity, and capacity allows growth to stay. When discipline is ignored, increase leads to unmanaged choices. Patience is another key element. Financial movement does not always show immediately. Sometimes it begins underground through ideas, connections, or preparation. Impatience causes people to abandon alignment too early. Patience allows processes to mature, and mature processes produce stable outcomes. There is also a need to avoid comparison. Alignment is personal. Your steps are not the same as someone else's. When people compare results, they rush or force outcomes that are not ready. This creates frustration. Staying focused on your own direction protects peace and progress. Discernment helps you recognize which opportunities are aligned and which are distractions. Not every opportunity is a blessing. Some opportunities drain energy and resources. Alignment sharpens judgment so you can say no without guilt and yes without fear. Another warning is against emotional decision-making. Emotions fluctuate. Decisions made from emotional highs or lows often produce regret. Alignment stabilizes emotions, so decisions come from clarity rather than reaction. This stability is essential for financial growth. Accountability also matters. Growth without accountability leads to excess. Having structure, guidance, or trusted feedback protects progress. Accountability keeps movement clean and intentional, preventing silent drift back into chaos. Gratitude strengthens alignment. When people acknowledge progress, even small progress, they reinforce discipline and patience. Gratitude keeps the heart settled and prevents greed. A settled heart manages resources better than a restless one. This part of the journey is about guarding what has been activated. Alignment opens doors, but wisdom keeps them open. When discernment, discipline, patience, and gratitude work together, financial movement becomes sustainable instead of temporary. Now is the moment to speak direction over your movement. Words shape posture, and posture shapes outcomes. When you consciously declare that your steps are ordered, you are reinforcing alignment. This is not about shouting or forcing belief. It is about calmly affirming that confusion no longer leads you and that wisdom now governs your movement. Begin to see your path differently. Imagine your steps guided by clarity rather than pressure. When the mind sees stability, the body follows. When the body follows, actions become consistent. Consistency builds trust, and trust attracts opportunity. This internal alignment quietly influences everything you touch. Declare that your decisions are no longer rushed. Rushed decisions drain finances. Calm decisions protect them. When you choose calmness, you choose longevity. Longevity is what wealth respects. Money stays where it feels safe, structured, and respected. Affirm that your movement attracts favor. Favor does not announce itself loudly. It shows up as cooperation, access, and timely help. Favor shortens processes and reduces resistance. When your steps are aligned, favor recognizes you naturally. Choose discipline as a daily posture. Discipline is not restriction. It is freedom from chaos. When discipline leads your steps, you stop leaking resources. You stop entertaining distractions. You begin to build instead of repair. This is how financial stability forms quietly. Release fear from your movement. Fear creates hesitation, and hesitation creates loss. Confidence grounded in wisdom creates momentum, and momentum carries provision. When fear exits, clarity enters, and movement becomes effective rather than exhausting. Commit to awareness. Awareness keeps you present. Present people notice opportunities. Distracted people miss them. Awareness sharpens timing, and timing increases results. This is how small actions begin producing larger outcomes over time. Invite peace to govern your finances. Peace protects progress. Peace allows you to wait when waiting is necessary and act when action is required. Peace prevents impulsive mistakes that undo weeks of discipline in a single moment. Stay consistent after this moment. Alignment grows through repetition, not excitement. Small, steady steps compound into visible change. What follows you will reflect how you walk, not how loudly you declare. As you move forward, remain intentional. Let your steps carry wisdom, calmness, and clarity. When movement is aligned, provision follows naturally, steadily, and in ways that can be sustained. This is Joshua Selman wisdom, where wisdom orders your steps, peace governs your movement, and provision follows alignment. This is the place where your journey is understood not just as a series of events, but as a spiritual path with tangible results. When you grasp that your feet, your movement, your daily choices, your direction are the very instruments that either summon or scatter provision, everything changes. It moves from a theory into a lived reality. Think about the past year. Recall the moments of frantic effort that led to fatigue, not fruit. Remember the prayers whispered from a place of desperation, hoping for a sudden windfall while your daily steps remain the same. That cycle ends now, not by a magical date, but by your conscious decision to use this moment of transition as a divine reset. The 22nd of December is not a magic wand, it is a mirror. It reflects where you have been and offers a clean space to choose where you will go next. It is the universe's way of pausing the music so you can find your rhythm again before the dance continues. True financial order is not about having more money first, it's about having more clarity first. When clarity is absent, you buy things you do not need to impress people you do not like with money you do not have. That is the very definition of misaligned steps. Every impulsive purchase, every investment made from fear of missing out, every time you said yes to an opportunity that drained your peace, these were not just financial decisions, they were spiritual missteps. They declared that your direction was subject to your emotions, not to wisdom. But from this point forward, you are recalibrating. You are declaring that your steps will now follow peace, purpose, and a plan. This alignment begins internally. Before your bank account changes, your mindset must change. The anxiety that tightens your chest when a bill arrives, that must be replaced by a strategic calm. The scarcity that whispers, you never have enough, must be silenced by the truth of divine order. Your inner world is the command center for your outer world. When turmoil reigns inside, chaos manifests outside. When peace is established inside, order begins to manifest outside. This is why the process starts with a quiet heart. A heart at peace can hear the gentle guidance that says, this is the way, walk in it. A heart in panic hears only its own frantic pulse and makes poor decisions. So, what does alignment look like in practical terms? It looks like a budget that is not a prison, but a map of your priorities. It looks like saying no to a social outing that will strain your resources so you can say yes to a course that would increase your skill. It looks like taking 10 minutes of silence each morning to still your spirit rather than grabbing your phone and absorbing the world's anxiety. It looks like auditing your relationships and recognizing which ones encourage growth and which ones only encourage gossip and lack. These are not just good habits. These are sanctified steps. Each one is a deliberate movement toward a territory of provision. Provision, you see, is not a single event. It is a follower. It follows the path of disciplined movement.